There. Nice to see you guys. If you remember, the last time we met, we were talking about filling buckets. Today, we're going to be talking about friendship, which is very similar to bucket filling. Filling up someone's bucket is a great way to make a new friend or keep a friend, and you would probably want to be friends with somebody who filled your bucket. So, today, what we're going to be talking about is how to make friends, and we're going to talk about it in terms of how to make friends here at school if you're at school, but also if you're not. So let's get started. So, what is a recipe? Well, a recipe is something that we use to help us know how to mix ingredients together to make something yummy. Maybe you've used a recipe when you've baked something before, or maybe you've seen one of your grown-ups using a recipe to cook dinner. If you get the recipe right and you put in all the ingredients, you make something good and yummy and delicious. But what happens if you put the wrong ingredients in? It wouldn't turn out like you wanted. It might even be stinky or taste yucky. So today we're going to talk about what are the right ingredients for our recipe for friends. To do that, we're going to watch a video of a friend of mine reading us this book, What's the Recipe for Friends?
This is Miss Press, and today I'm going to be reading you What's the Recipe for Friends by Greg Williamson, illustrated by Greg Abel. What's the recipe for friends? When Freddie and his family moved to a new town, he got to bring his frog, Fernandez. But he did have to leave his old house, his old school, and his old friends behind.
Who can guess how that might have made Freddie feel? I see kind of a frowny face. Looks like Freddie feels kind of sad.
Freddie and his family moved into a nice new home. He got to see his new school. It was cool. But one thing made Freddie worry. Will I make friends? Freddie asked his mom. Of course, she told him. I don't know if the kids in class will like me, though, and I don't know how to make new friends, Freddie explained. Then I'll show you the recipe for friends, his mom answered. I'll look for it while you and Fernandez unpack your toys. In his room, Freddie sat with Fernandez and felt confused. How will a recipe help me make friends, he thought to himself. What would the ingredients be? How would I mix them together? Do I bake it? Do I cook it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. Freddie thought about the recipes that he knew. He could make macaroni and cheese. First, his mom put water in the pot, and it got hot on the stove. Next, Freddie got to pour in the whole box of noodles. When the noodles were cooked, his mom poured them in a special big bowl with little holes in them. The bowl let the water go down the drain, but not the noodles. Then it was Freddie's job to put in a big spoonful of butter, a cupful of milk, and a packet of cheese. Last, Freddie stirred it all up, and the macaroni and cheese was done. He could almost taste it now. But Freddie still wanted to know, what's the recipe for friends? Can I really make friends? Will my mom find it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. Freddie knew that the recipe for chocolate chip cookies, too. His mom mixed in 2 big scoops of flour with a big scoop of sugar. Next, Freddie cracked open 2 eggs and dropped them in. Then he dropped in a whole stick of butter. The last ingredient was a big bag of chocolate chips. Once these went in, Freddie stirred it all up. After that, he scooped spoonfuls of dough onto the cookie sheet one by one. When he was done, his mom put them in the oven to bake. He could almost smell them baking. Freddie still wanted to know, what's the recipe for friends? Will my mom ever find it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. When Freddie's mom finally called him for lunch, Freddie and Fernandez hopped full speed down the stairs. A smile slowly spread across his face when he saw a big cookbook in his mom's hands. The words quickly shot from Freddie's mouth. Do you have it? Is it really the recipe for friends? It is, his mom said, and I think I have all the ingredients. Freddie couldn't wait to find out the ingredients. Tell me, what do I use? He asked anxiously. Well, it looks like we'll need ingredients like politeness, kindness, and sharing. Box, carton, or jar. How could they be used in a recipe? But his mom was always right, so he listened as she read.
So, Freddie's mom tells us that politeness, kindness, and sharing are necessary ingredients. So, a really important part of our recipe for friends.
The first ingredient is a spoonful of kindness. But where do I find kindness? Freddie asked. You have it inside you, dear. I've seen you use it. Just think. Freddie thought. Like when I say nice things or do nice things for other people? He wondered out loud. That's right, his mom said. The next ingredient is a big scoop of politeness. A scoop of polite? Freddie asked. Do you mean like when I say please or thank you or when I listen without interrupting? Right again, Fred's mom said.
So Freddie's mom tells us that being polite is saying please, thank you, or listening without interrupting.
You also need 2 cups of sharing. I get it, Freddie announced. I share my ball at the park and I share my markers at school. Yes, and don't forget a pinch of taking turns, his mom reminded. Like on the swings or when I play video games? You've got it, said Mom. But there are some ingredients that could spoil the recipe, like teasing, hitting, whining, tattling, or complaining. Try not to let those get mixed into the recipe. Freddie was excited about using all his ingredients.
So that's really important too. Just like there are important ingredients that go into the recipe, there are things that could mess up our recipe. They said tattling, teasing, whining. What were some of the others? Do you remember?
Ingredients when school started. That weekend seemed to last forever. When school finally started on Monday, Freddie used all of his ingredients all day long, listening to students tell about their summers, cheering for his team at lunch, and when the day ended, he walked home alone. Tuesday came and Freddie was following the recipe's directions, waiting his turn at the fountain, sharing his cookies at lunch. But after school, Freddie sat with his only friend, Fernandid. I wonder if this recipe really makes friends. I don't have any yet. I'll mix in even more ingredients tomorrow. Wednesday was waiting and Freddie was ready, being polite, kind, and sharing all day long. But after the school bell, Freddie's walk home was all alone. It seemed even farther. Even Fernandid hopping down the driveway didn't cheer him up. He could hear everyone else having fun. As he opened the door, his mom was already asking, "How was your day?" He had to tell how he really felt. "Mom, I'm using all the ingredients you told me, but I'm not making any friends." "Don't give up yet," his mom said. "I'm sure you'll have friends before you know it." On Thursday, he still used all the ingredients, but he was starting to think about the long walk home. Just then, a boy named Billy walked up and said, "You live in that new house right by me. We can walk home after school." Could it be? Could the recipe really be working? Friday, Freddie had a lot more fun following the recipe. After lunch, he noticed a note on his desk. "Freddie, do you want to come over and play with me and Joey?" From Billy. The recipe really did work. Freddie made new friends. The end.
So, what ingredients did the book tell us we needed to make friends? Do you remember? It gave us some wonderful ingredients to make friends. Remember, it was kindness, politeness, sharing, and a pinch of taking turns. Freddie's mom also told us that politeness was saying please, thank you, and not interrupting. If you were making your own recipe for friends, what ingredients would you include? You'd probably want your friend to be nice. Maybe you'd want a friend who was funny or kind. Think about it. See if you can name 3 things that you want a friend to have. Now here's a trick. What would a bad ingredient for friendship be? Maybe somebody who was mean or somebody who was teasing you. That wouldn't make a very good recipe, would it? Okay, so we are going to scribble through the ingredients that would not make a good friend. Giving hugs, that would definitely make a good friend. Remember though, when we're at school, we're not going to give hugs right now because we want to keep everybody safe. Sharing, definitely. Calling a mean name, no way. Not a good friend. What about teasing? No teasing either. Uh-oh. No thank you, teasing. Taking turns, that's definitely a good one. Using kind words. Bragging. Bragging would kind of be like saying, I'm better than you, or my things are cooler. And it's not a really nice thing to do. Inviting someone to play, that would be a fantastic ingredient for making friends. See if you can do that the next time you're on the playground. Complimenting, definitely. Telling good jokes, love a good joke. Encouraging, you got this. Making fun of somebody, no way, yuck. That would not be a good friend. Hitting, definitely not. And in school, we definitely want to make sure that we want to keep our hands to ourselves, even when we're using them in a nice way. But hitting, not a good friend. Playing what they want to play, that would be a great way to make friends. Being forgiving. If somebody apologizes, you can just say thank you for your apology and keep going. Being helpful, that would be great. Being a sore loser, no way. That's not a recipe for or an ingredient for being a good friend. That would be getting upset just because somebody else won. But really, the fun is just playing a game with somebody. Being silly, definitely. That would make a good friend. Excluding, means leaving somebody out, and that is not a nice thing to do. And saying sorry. That's a good one too. When you're making new friends or when you're with the friends that you already have, make sure that you're using all of the really great ingredients that we just went over. But sometimes we put a wrong ingredient in on accident. And how do we fix that? Make sure you apologize. So say sorry and try to fix it and do better next time. We're always learning how to be better friends, so accidents are going to happen. Remember, to have good friends, you have to be a good friend. Practice using the ingredients in our friendships will help keep our friends and help us make new friends. If you're not nice to the people around you, you can't expect to make friends or keep the ones that you have. As long as you practice being a good friend and do your best, you'll be okay. Remember when Freddie started using his ingredients to make friends, it didn't work right away. He had to give it some time. Some people make friends very easily, and some of us don't, and that's okay. Some of us can feel more shy or just haven't found the right friend yet. Remember, in order to have good friends, you have to be a good friend. Friendship skills can always be improved. There are a lot of things to learn about being a good friend. What are you doing to make friends right now? Are you in any fun activities? Maybe if you're at home, you could send a letter to a friend, send a postcard. I would love if you guys sent letters to each other or an email to a friend. That would be great. And if you're at school, maybe you're making friends by saying hi to other kids. Remember, just be yourself. The right friend will love you for who you are, so don't try to be something you're not. Bye, guys. See you next time.